Con. All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. We do so in the name of the only begotten Son of Mashiach Yahweh, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Shema Yahshua Yahweh, Allah Yahweh Yahweh Chud. All right, here is the Lord God, one Lord. All right, so we're coming today for the Shabath service on this wicked folly day, July 4th. All right, July 4th. All right, which is so called the which started the freedom of America, so they say, right? But people that actually do the research, people that actually know the real truth about this folly day, already knows that we were still in captivity on this day, right? We were still getting auctioned on this day. If you look it up, this was a big auctioning day. White people was auctioning hundreds and thousands of so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans on this day, right? Everywhere. Right. So let's go to the scripture right here, Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, look, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Right? They sold us and they said, blessed be the Lord. Hallelujah. We are rich, right? Because what did they do? They sold us and now they have everything that they want and that they need. Right? They're rich off of us. All right. The so-called Hispanic and Native American and Black man built this country from blood, sweat, and tears. Right? We built this country. This is how they live. Is off of us, right? And I made a post on Instagram that's having a lot of controversy right now, right? You know what I'm saying? I said, if you are a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, and you say Black Lives Matter, but you go and you celebrate July 4th, you are a traitor.
Treason.
So
punishable like that.
Right. So that's straight up, man. If you say Black Lives Matter and you say that you care about your people, you're not gonna go out here and celebrate July 4th. But you know Jake, though. You know what I'm saying?
They gonna do that.
You know Jake.
He's gonna do it too. He's gonna dress in an American flag skirt,
right?
And she's gonna dress all her kids, and in American apparel. That's what she's gonna do. I ain't gonna say all Eves would do that. You know what I'm saying? But we know the average Eve, what she gonna do. We know what Eve gonna do, man. Come on now. Let me see something. There we go. Let me share my screen with y'all real quick. Let's see. July. That's a good one. 4th of July. July. Let's see. What was the speech of Frederick Douglass? All right. Here's the post. What to the slave is the 4th of July? That is the revelatory title of a speech that Black Statements and Embellishments Frederick Douglass delivered on July 5th, 1852. Let's see what he got to say about this, okay? I just want to see what he got to say about this. He may have something positive or negative to say about this. All right. It's an orientation that students should learn, along with the history of how the Continental Congress, meeting on July 2nd, 1776, in Philadelphia, declared independence from Britain. Got their ass. And then on July 4th, approved the document stating that reasons for the action. Douglas delivered the speech. Read it below. Well, I shouldn't even read that. In Corinthian Hall, to white members of the Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society, he expressed respect for the country's founding fathers, calling them brave and truly great. Wow. Brave and truly great. Great, right? They are great for what?
The founders of the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are great.
Huh?
They're really great.
What
Native
makes them great?
Americans?
There you go. All right. All right, cool. Brave and truly great. He compared the way that they were treated by the British before independence to the treatment of slaves and urged them to view slaves as Americans. You may remember that on February 1st, 2017, President Trump made comments to honor Black History Month and spoke about Douglas as if he were still alive. Regular Douglas, he spoke about him like he was like, yeah, we finna go and chill Frederick Douglass later. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's speaking, like the brother's still alive. Frederick Douglass is an example of somebody who's done an amazing job and is getting recognized more and more. I notice, presumably, someone has told Trump by now that Douglas is long gone, although his work is still with us. Frederick Douglass. Who says that's his uncle? Omar Johnson. Yeah. Frederick Douglass' daddy is an Edomite, which makes Frederick Douglass what? A white boy.
Frederick Douglass was a black man, right?
I mean, his skin was a so-called black man, but his daddy is a slave master that raped the mom. That's why a lot of people go around talking about you mix and mix, act like every slave master raped every woman on the plantation. That's how they act. All right, let's see. I didn't really want to get this. I wanted to get the next one, but I thought it was going to be some key points on this. I'm gonna go to this one real quick. Where I wanted to go to right here. Okay, what is your 4th of July? Let's see. It's kind of the same, but it's not. Let me see something real quick. Okay, cool. In early summer of 1852, Frederick Douglass, one of America's greatest orators, was invited to deliver a 4th of July address to the Rochester Ladies Anti-Slavery Society at the newly constructed Corinthian Hall, the most prestigious venue in Rochester, New York. Douglass declined the offer to speak on July 4th, for blacks had little stake or role in America's patriotic celebration. Indeed, many cities and towns prohibited their participation. Furthermore, the Southern custom of holding slave auctions on the 4th of July linked those celebrations to the abhorrent institution from which Douglass had escaped to freedom in 1838. The ladies of the society agreed that Douglass would speak on the 5th instead, because he wouldn't speak on the 4th. Facing a packed crowd of 600 people, Douglass delivered a speech that Yale University historian David W. Blight was described in his book, Frederick Douglass, Prophet of Freedom. A radical a radical masterpiece of American abolitionism. I can't even say the word. Sorry, y'all. I am lost for words right now. An oratical symphony and one of the most important speeches in American history. Douglass initially put his audience at ease by recognizing the genius of the founding fathers, describing the Declaration of Independence as a ring bolt to the chain of your nation's destiny. And the preamble to the nation's saving principles, Douglass used of the possessive pronoun your was deliberate, for the world soon turned to the glaring hypocrisy of a nation that celebrated the lofty goals of its founding while it simultaneously treated as chattel over 3 million enslaved people. This is your 4th of July right here. Everybody that celebrate this day, this is your 4th of July right here. You're not an American, okay? You're a citizen. You're an American citizen. The Americans that own you, American citizen. The people that own you that are Americans, you're their citizen. Okay? You gotta understand these words you gotta understand these words that you're applying to yourself. Because it's not working for you, okay? Now I'm gonna end this because I don't want to go too far in this. I have a class to teach. Frederick Douglass is an Edomite. Daddy's a slave owner. Okay? White man, Edomite, Amalek, however you want to call it. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get to the lesson. First, we're going to get into these prayers and send these prayers up to the Most High. Light that incense. That way our prayers will be able to go up to the Most High smelling good. All right? Get that real quick. I'll go over it. We're going to be in the book of Numbers, everybody. All right? We're going to be in Numbers, start at chapter 19, verse 1, and we're going to end up in chapter 25, ending at verse 9. Then we're going to go to the prophets, all right? Micah chapter 5, starting at verse 6, ending at chapter 6, verse 8. All right, then we're going to go to the gospel and read John, starting at chapter 19, verse 38 to verse 42. And then we're going to backtrack to Matthew chapter 21, verse 1 to 11. Okay? This is going to be a good reading. And Lord willing, I'll stick to the end and listen to this, especially the law, because you're going to be judged by the law. So you might as well listen to the law, because you're going to be judged by it for doing the things that he told them not to do. And you're not paying attention to listening, because you're doing those things that he told our ancestors not to do. You're doing today. You're murmuring and complaining, right? Murmuring and complaining. Let's see. Let me get that precept. Hebrews 13 and 7. Hebrews 13 and 7 reads, it says, that's the wrong one. Slakia. 13 and 17. Hebrews 13 and 17 reads, obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. It's unprofitable for you to grieve those who have rule over you. All right? So let's get to these prayers. All right. Amadium upon Jerusalem. All right, Amadium upon Jerusalem. Everybody face the east. This is the Abanawa found in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9, 13. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shimka, Yahweh, Barakah, Taba'ah, Bartazaka, Hayah, Ashah, Baratazaka, Kahayah, Bashemayim, Nathaniel, Makam, Koyawam, Watsalakinaw, Kabawakinaw, Hasalakinaw, Kabawakinaw, Wala'ab, Tabi'ayinaw, Bin Sayawam, Abo, Hawashayinaw, Monrai, Kaya, Laka, Kamalakwa, Wala, Wadapara, Lamyam, Aman, Bahashim, Yahushai, Mashiach, Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed, thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Bahashim, Yahushua, Mashiach, Amen. All right. This is the Asherah, reading Psalms, found in chapter 84, verse 4, chapter 144, verse 15, chapter 145, 1 to the end, chapter 115, verse 18. Blessed are they that dwell in thy house, they will still be praising thee, Selah. Happy is that people that is in such a case. Yea, happy is that people whose Alahaya is Yahweh. I will extol thee, my Alahaya, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of thy glorious honor of thy majesty, and of thy wondrous works, and men shall speak of thy might, of thy terrible acts. I will declare thy greatness, they shall abundantly utter the memory of thy great goodness, and shall sing of thy righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. Yahweh is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All thy works shall praise thee, O Yahweh, and thy saints shall bless thee. They shall speak of thy glory, of thy kingdom, and talk of thy power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and his glorious majesty of his kingdom. Thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth throughout all generations. Yahweh upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. Yahweh upholdeth all that fall, and raiseth up all those that be bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon thee, and thou givest them their meat in due season. Thou openest thy hand, and satisfiest the desire of every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. Yahweh is not unto all them that call upon him. To all that call upon him in truth, he will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry, and will save them. Yahweh preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will he destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise of Yahweh, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. But we will bless Yahweh from this time forth and forevermore. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem. Hashem. Yahushua. Hashem. Amen.
This is the first three prayers of the Mada. This is the first three prayers of the Mada. Allah, Barak, Atah, Yahweh, Alahayah, Alahayah, Bakanawa, Alahayah, Baraham, Alahayah, Yatadquak, Alahayah, Kwak, Allah, Sharia, Allah, Ayatwan, Kamal, Kasayos, Barak, Atah, Yahweh, Mudad, Baraham. Good war, Yahweh, good war, Balam, Yahweh, Makaya, Matayam, Omaya, Yahuma, Maka, Malak, Alam, Omaya, Makaya, Rak, Ata, Yahweh, Makaya, Matayam, Horsha, Yahweh, Yahweh, Ata, Kodaya, Soshika, Kodawash, Wakadawash, Wakal, Yawam, Allah, Barak, Ata, Yahweh, Allah, Makadawash. Bless you, Yahweh, our Father, our Abraham, our Isaac, our Jacob, Almighty God, Most High God, bestows mercy, bless you, Yahweh, should have you are mighty Yahweh, Word. Yahweh, mercy is dead, who compared to you, King eternity, cause death, give life, bless you, Yahweh, gives life, to the dead, holy, you are holy, Yahweh, your name is holy, every day, praise you, bless you, Yahweh, power of holy, Hashem, Mashiach, Yabaraka from the number 6, verse 26. Yabaraka, Yahweh, Yashmarka, Amma, Shara, Yahweh, Laika, Yashara, Yahweh, Laika, Shem. It's not for real. Yashara, Yahweh, Laika, Shem. How bless you, and keep how his face, shine upon you, gracious, to how the continents upon you, give you peace. Shem,
This is the Ta'ala, a song of the Greek. I will lift up my eyes unto the hill, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem, Yahushua, Hamashiach. This is a psalm for the Shabbat day. A psalm for the Shabbat day. It is a good thing to give thanks unto your house, to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon a palstry, and upon an harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in thy works of thy hands. Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither do a fool understand it. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that day shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art most high forevermore. For lo, thy enemies, Yahweh, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes also shall see my desire of my enemy, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our Abahai. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing to shew that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem, Yahushua, Mashiach. All right. Yeah. Everybody get up. About to teach. Con, everybody turn to Numbers chapter 19, verse 1. Going to the law. Gotta go to the law. Let's salute in real quick. Rock. Shabath. Go ahead and read when you get ready.
Numbers chapter 19 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law, which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, branded no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, and he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, and her skin, and her flesh, and her blood, and with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water. And afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh, and water, and shall be unclean unto the evening.
So this is an ordinance, all right? Let me get that for you. H2708. All right. It's an ordinance. It's a custom. These are statutes. It's a manner, all right? Meaning it's a moral law. It's how we do things. It's our, you got moral, civil, dietary, and ceremonial. It's a ceremonial. This is a ceremony. This is how our customs are done. All right. It's an ordinance. It's a statute, a law, something that the Most High commanded us to do, and this is how we do things, decently and in order. Was that Second Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 14 and 40?
Yes.
May everything be done decently and in order. All right. This is how we do things. It is a custom. There's no religion. All right. When he read chapter 19, verse 1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, this is the ordinance of the law. This is the custom of the law. This is manners of the law. This is how you should do these things. Okay. Let's get a Strong's definition down here. Outline of biblical usage, a statute, ordinance, a limitation, enactment, something prescribed. All right, something prescribed, a statute. All right. When we go to the Hebrew lexicon, established or defined, always of a single law. So if it's always of a single law, it's talking about this specifically. It is a law, one of the 613. Okay. So this is a law, and we're about to get to the precept where it tells you what law this is. Okay. Fine, Baba Kushan, continue.
Verse 10. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the evening. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and to the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify.
Didn't I stop you at 9?
Where
did you start at? You started at 9, right?
I started at 10.
I started at 9.
Verse 9. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and lay them up without the camp in a clean place.
In a clean place. In order, read.
It shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin.
So it's a purification for sin. It's a water purification. And what do you need to do a water purification for? Read.
And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto even. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and to the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute forever.
Go ahead.
He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
So this is unto the stranger this is unto the children of Israel and unto the stranger that sojourneth. When we look here in the Strongs, the stranger is talking about Israel. All right? One without any rights. We can go there. One without any inherited rights. He lives over there. He has no inheritance in this land. He's a sojourner. He's coming from his land over to your land. That means he's still going to keep the same law that he kept in his land. Verse 10. A sojourner, stranger, right? A temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. Of foreigners in Israel who conceded rights. All right. A sojourner, stranger, foreigner, a person living out of his own country. It didn't say heathen. It didn't say other nations. Go right on. It didn't say that at all. It's talking about somebody that they live. What's that land? Anyways, you got the Samaria. You got Israel, the northern kingdom, and Samaria. They come over to the land of Judah. Okay, they're sojourners, they're aliens, as they're not in their land. They're still going to keep the same law. That's like if Issachar came over to my house, he's going to keep the laws in my house. He probably do things a little bit different over there, but when you come into my land and my house, you're going to keep my laws and everything else. But we're supposed to have the same laws. Right now, everybody's rehearsing and they got different ish. So if somebody came that keeps a lunar moon, a lunar Sabbath coming to my house, they're going to keep the Friday Sabbath. They can keep their lunar moon Sabbath, but on Friday, everybody is resting and chilling. He or she's going to have to keep our Shabbat. You're not coming in my house keeping a different Shabbat. You're going to keep my Shabbat.
That's right.
All right? Because this is my house, my rules.
That's right.
So we can start at 11.
Verse 11.
So this was what it's for. Okay, it is a purification for sin. All the stuff that went from number 1, chapter 19, verse 1, and to verse 9. It's showing you how things is done. Now what it's for? Read.
Numbers chapter 11, chapter 19, verse 11. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day.
So, and on the 3rd day.
And on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify himself, but if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean.
So he has to do this in the order. He has to purify himself on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. But if he doesn't purify himself on the 3rd day, but on the 7th day, he is not clean. He has to do it in the order of the way it's supposed to be done. All right, go ahead.
Verse 13. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead and purifieth not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord. And that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him.
Keep going.
This is the law when a man defileth in a tent. No, it's like this is the law when a man dieth in a tent.
So this is the law of a man that dieth in a tent. All right. And whosoever touches the dead body of any man that is dead, that died in that tent, that means his house. That man died. He was about to take his blood and he was dead. You touched him, you were unclean. Stuff said the house. All right. So and purifieth himself not, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. So, hey, you got to get out the house, bro. You got to get away from us. Like, bye. Deuces. You know what I'm saying? You got to go home. Can't come over here. Can't deal with you like that, bro. Come back when you clean. All right? Read.
Numbers chapter 19, verse 14. This is the law when a man dieth in a tent. All that come into the tent and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean.
Say that again.
And every open vessel which hath no covering bound upon it is unclean.
Mama cooking and everything. He came in the house to cooking. There's food in the pot. Food is unclean. Water is unclean. Everything that doesn't have anything covered on it is unclean. That's just how it is. Every vessel, anything and everything. We just had to do that to a brother. We didn't let him over to the house because he was unclean. Couldn't. He was unclean. He went to a funeral. Everybody, if he didn't touch a dead body, everybody else did. They went over there, put their hand all over him, everything. Shalom, how you doing, whatever. I'm pretty sure they didn't say shalom, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? That's what they did. You know what I'm saying? Read.
Verse 16, and whosoever touches one that is slain with a sword in the open field, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean. For an unclean person, they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water.
Okay, hold on. A clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water, right? Because it's a purification form, right? Didn't they give Christ vinegar and hyssop when he was on the cross? They gave him that to purify himself, to cleanse himself if anything happened. You know what I'm saying? He's unclean, touched somebody, whenever it was dead, a lot of people was around him. You know what I'm saying? So that hyssop, you know what I'm saying? So watch what he said talking about the hyssop. Watch what they do with the hyssop though. Read.
And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels that upon the persons that
Upon the
were
what?
there.
The tent is your house, right? Let's see what it says in here. Let's see what it says in here, the tent. Because people don't think it's a teepee, you know, because they're a bunch of ignoramuses. You know. Give me Genesis 24:67. Give them an example. Tabernacle, tent, dwelling, place, covering, home.
You said what scripture?
24, Genesis 24:67. Nomad tent, thus symbolic of wilderness life, trans science, you know, dwelling, home, habitation. Talking about your home. We're inside your home. Right? Don't even worry about that. Skip that. Don't even worry about that. I proved it with this already. I thought I was going to have to do a precept on it, but it's talking about, you know, matter of fact, get that. Genesis 24:67.
Uh, Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her to his mother Sarah's tent, and took her back, and she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was afforded after his mother's death.
The tent. Isaac took Sarah into the tent, right? Into the tent. That's what happened. So they're talking about a tent, man, a home, your house. It's not talking about a teepee or anything else like that. It's talking about a house, your home. All right, you can continue. So, verse 18, and a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water and sprinkle it upon the tent, the home. All right, and everything that's inside of it. Go. Starting verse 18, Baba Kushal.
Verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
And a clean person shall take hyssop and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the persons that were there.
So it's talking about all the, you know, the vessels. Anything, it may be cups, it may be a couch, whatever it is. Vessel is something you put something in, but then it goes for everything because it says anything anybody touches, right? All right, read.
And upon him that touched a bone, or one flint, or a dead, or a grave. And a clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the third day, and on the seventh day. And on the seventh day he shall purify himself, and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at even. But the man that shall be unclean, and shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he hath defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water separation hath not been sprinkled upon him, he is unclean. And it shall be perpetual statute unto them. And he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean unto even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean unto even.
Come on. Verse 21, and it shall be a perpetual statute, right? In the Hebrew, right? H Strong's H 5769, right? Olam, right? In the Hebrew, olam, long duration, antiquity, right? Forever, ever, everlasting, evermore, perpetual, old, ancient world, ancient time, long time, forever. always, continuous, existence, perpetual, everlasting, indefinite, or unending future, eternity. There you go. A perpetual statue. All right. All right. So that was chapter 20 now.
Numbers chapter 20, verse 1. Then came the children of Israel, even the whole congregation, into the desert of Zin in the first month. The people abode in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. And there was no water for the congregation, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people chode with Moses and spake, chode with Moses and spake, saying, would God that we had died when our brethren died before the Lord? And why have you brought us up?
What are they talking about, died before the Lord?
We're just talking about when Most High
swallow them up, right? So what do chod mean? You can find that. Let's see. Let's go to page 7378. Chide. They spell it chide, C-H-I-D-E on here. But it's rev. R-I-Y-B. Rev. Rev. All right. To contend, strive, debate. All right. To quarrel, to contend against. All right. I.e., hold a controversy. All right. Chide, complain, contend, debate, ever, lay wait. So what are they doing? They're murmuring. And the Most High hates you murmuring with somebody he put ahead of you. Right? Let me see. Hebrews 13 and verse 17. It reads, I'll pull it up on here. Let's see. I ain't going to do that. Hebrews 13:17 reads, says, obey them that have rule over you and submit yourself, for they watch for your souls, your mind, and the things that are supposed to go up there. That should show your characteristics and what makes you and what the Most High wants for you. That's how they guide you. That's how we guide you. You got to submit yourself, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account. We got to give account for you. And that day, okay, why didn't this person know this? Why didn't they know that? Why didn't they do? We know why they didn't do it, but why didn't you teach them this? Why didn't you tell them this? Why didn't you sit them down and do this? Why didn't you do that? All right, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that it is unprofitable for you. The Most High said it's unprofitable for you to grieve us, to have rule over you. And what you think about to happen right now? Continue to read, Bond.
Verse 4. And why have you brought up the congregation of the Lord into the wilderness? And we and our cattle should die there.
That we and our cattle.
That we and our cattle should die there. And wherefore have you made us to come up of Egypt to bring us into the evil place? It is no place of seed, or of figs, or of vines, or of pomegranates. Neither is there any water to drink.
What was that Harriet Tubman said that she freed 1,000 slaves? She could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. Did I say that right? She could have freed 1,000 more if she could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. These people don't know they're slaves. You got to check out the characteristics. When y'all read this, it's like, look what our people doing. They still doing it to this day. Nobody else does that, man, but our people. They still doing it to this day, man. They vexing the hell out of Moses. Moses is like, man, these people, man, Moses didn't care about dying. It's like, hey, take me. You know what I'm saying? These people get on my nerves, man. Hey, we be like that sometimes on the byways, man. We be like, hey, man, bro, get down. I'm ready to go. These people get on our nerves. They are stiff necked and rebellious and don't understand when to shut the hell up. And then you gotta yell at them. Read.
Verse 6. And Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and they fell on their faces. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto them. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod.
Take the what?
Take the rod.
Ooh, read.
And gather thou the assembly together.
Something about to happen. Something's about to happen right now. Somebody's about to be disobedient. Read.
Thou and thy brother, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So thou shalt give the congregation their beasts drink.
So he said, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes. Moses is supposed to go to the rock, tell the rock to bring forth water, and water comes out. That's what he was supposed to do. Read.
And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, you rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock?
And remember, Most High said in the wilderness, he's going to purge out the rebels. These are the rebels he's going to purge out. The ones that complain, the ones that don't want to do what they told, the ones that just don't, just shut the fuck up and just listen. Excuse my language. I'm going to work on that. But he just wants them to shut up and do what they're told. That's it. All right. Read. These are the rebels right here. Go ahead.
And Moses lifted up his hand with his rod.
Go ahead.
And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank.
So he did what? He smote the rock twice?
Yeah.
What was he supposed to do? He was supposed to talk to the rock. Verse 1.
Verse 12 now.
Thank you.
Verse 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because he believed me not to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye should not bring this congregation to the land which I give it. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and he was sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. They said, Thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that has befallen us. Now our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians vexed us, and our fathers.
So they went into Meribah, right? Meribah means strife or contention. A fountain and Rephidim in the desert of sin. They murmured against God. So he named it what? Meribah. Right? Strife or contention. That's what it's called. Strife or contention. Meribah. All right. So now our ancestors are going to Edom. Who's Edom you find in Genesis 25 and 25. Esau, he's going to them. All right, read.
Come. Verse 15. How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are Kadesh city, in the uttermost of thy border. Let us pass, I pray thee, thorough thy country. We will not pass thorough the fields, or thorough the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway, and we will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword.
So hold on. When you go to Genesis 25 and 25, right? Watch this. Just in case y'all skipped over this. This is Genesis 25 and 22. The Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. They were twins, but they were two nations. They're not the same people, right? And he called them his brother because they came out of the same womb. And it first came out red all over like a heavy garment. They called his name Esau, right? Over in verse 14, he said, the king of Edom, right? Let's see who Edom is. Let's go down some more. Genesis 25 and 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So when you read Numbers chapter 20, verse 14, and Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom, thus saith thy brother Israel. Jacob is Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So he was talking to his brother. His brother said what? In 18, and Edom saith unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. I'm going to kill you. I don't care who you are. Why? Hey, we can get to that another time. We'll go ahead and read that.
So
18.
verse 18. And Edom said unto him, thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, we will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will. I will only without doing anything else go thorough on my feet. And he said, thou shalt not go thorough. And Edom came against him with much people and with a strong hand. And Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border. Wherefore Israel turned away from it.
I want to give y'all an understanding. When he said, and with a strong hand, he's talking about with a severe hand, slaughter, loud, all right, strong hand. He's talking about with a lot of people. And the Most High through the scripture says, and with a strong hand will he bring Israel out. So that strong hand is destruction. He's going to bring them out with destruction. We got to see this destruction. We got to see all the destruction that's about to go on. If we leave or if we don't, no matter where we go, we're going to see destruction. We're going to see people dying right in front of you, people getting their head blown off. Even if you're in the house or in your tent, you're going to look outside the window, people falling on the ground, dying and stuff, and blood all outside the door and everything else. And that's what you're going to see. All right, with a strong hand. He will deliver Israel with a strong hand and a stretched out arm. All right. He's going to deliver them through destruction. We got to see it so we don't mess up again. Read.
Verse 22. The children of Israel, even the whole congregation, journeyed from Kadesh and came unto Mount Hor. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron in Mount Hor by the coast of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered into the people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because he rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah.
Because who? He or me? He or you? He said, because ye rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. That's why Aaron died, because of what Moses did. All right? Read.
Verse 24.
Come on.
24. Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, for he shall not enter into the land which I have given unto the children of Israel, because he rebelled against my word at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son, and bring them up unto Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron shall be gathered unto his people, and shall die there. And Moses did as the Lord commanded, and they went up into Mount Hor, in the sight of all the congregation. And Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, and put them upon Eleazar his son. And Aaron died there on the top of the mount. And Moses and Eleazar came down from the mount. When all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, they mourned for Aaron 30 days, even all the house of Israel.
Yeah, and even that was too much mourning for 30 days. You should never mourn for 30 days. Give me Sirach 22 and 12, Baba Kishai. Matter of fact, I get. Let's see. Give me Sirach 22 and 12. I thought this was the one. 30 days is too long.
Sirach chapter 22, verse 12. 7 days do we mourn for him that is dead, for a fool and his ungodly man all the days of his life.
You know, a fool is the one that don't keep the commandments. All right, that is in 1 Samuel 13 and 13. A fool is somebody that does not keep the commandments. So if you're not keeping the commandments, you're not gonna know. You're not supposed to be mourning that long. So that's right. Samuel, this is 1 Samuel 13 and 13. And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now will the Lord hath established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. So a foolish man or woman is one that don't keep the law. All right. So a foolish person will mourn more than 7 days. All right, because they don't understand the law. You're not supposed to be doing it. Don't do that. All right. So let's move on. Where we at?
We're at verse 1.
Let's finish that up.
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's it.
Let's finish that. Yeah. Let's go to chapter 21.
Numbers chapter 21 and verse 1. And when King Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow to the Lord, and said, if thou wilt indeed deliver this people to my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel, and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah.
Hormah, right? Go ahead.
And they journeyed from Mount Hor, and by the way of the Red Sea, to pass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against God and against Moses. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth the light bread.
So hold on. And he called that place Hormah, right? Let's get that H2767. Hormah, meaning devotion. Devotion means love, loyalty, enthusiasm for a person, activity, or cause. The Most High loved that. Loyalty. He called it Hormah. All right? Called it Hormah. All right, town of the Canaanites, conquered by Joshua, allotted to Judah located in the south of Judah. Right, it's a land of Judah now. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And the Lord sent fire serpents among the people, and fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and most people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, Make thee a fiery serpent, set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if the serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel set forth and pitched in Obath. And they journeyed from Obath and pitched at Liabiram in the wilderness, which was before.
Obath means water skins. Okay, Obath. It means water skins. Read.
Which is before Moab, toward the sun rising. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zered. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Ornan.
So, as I read, is you can find it in Strong's H22 and 18. It means the Osir Brook, a river east of Jordan. All right, in Arnon, you can find it in the Strong's H769. It means rushing stream. Remember, they're along the where are they along? Where are they walking over? Look to the scriptures. Where are they at right now? They're walking along something. What are they walking along? Because they had to go around. Edom said they couldn't go this way, so they had to go another way. Where are they right now? They're walking along something. They're walking along streams and rivers.
With the coast or something.
Just scroll back from where you were reading. You'll find it. It's a long stream of water. You know what I'm saying? It's a long stream of water.
The Red Sea.
There you go. Verse 4. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. So that's why they're going passing all these brooks. Most High naming them Obath, Sarad, Arnan, and stuff like that. Right? And these are like primary locations of the things that happen where you're able to geologically locate things where they was. Like if you went over there and visit, you'll be able to, okay, I know they were right here, they were right here. Okay, yeah, they were right here, they went from here, 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 and there. And you're able to track things and you're able to locate things that happen, like the rock he was supposed to smite and all that other stuff. All right, go ahead. Chapter and verse, Bible for sure.
Numbers chapter 21 and verse 13. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon, which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites. For Aaron is in the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of the Lord, what he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Aaron, and at the stream of the brooks he goes down to the dwelling of Ar, and lieth upon the border of Moab. And from this they went to Beer, that is well whereof the Lord spake unto Moses, gather the people together, and I will give them water.
Remember, they're still near the borders of Moab and Edom. They're just not where they were supposed to walk by Edom, but they're still on the borders of Moab. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Then Israel sang the song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, and the nobles of the people digged it by the direction of the lawgiver and their staffs. And from the wilderness they went to Mattanah, and from Mattanah to Naeliel, and from Naeliel to Bemoth, and from Bemoth in the valley, that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pisgah, which looketh toward Jeshimon. And Israel sent messengers unto Shaon, king of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, for we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. And
They
Shaon,
said the same thing to him, right? By the King's Highway, right? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, in verse 17, Numbers chapter 20, verse 17. Same thing. They, like I said, they're still around the borders and stuff. I see that right here. Yeah, I'm talking to Edom's bread, I believe. And Moses sent messengers of Kadesh unto the king of Edom, right? Verse 17. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards. Neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left hand. And they're saying the same thing to this dude. Start go over there.
verse 23. And Shaon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border. But Shaon gathered all these people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came into Ahaz and fought against Israel. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword, and possessed his land from Aaron and Jabbok.
So why did they go out and fight against Israel? Why? They just wanted to pass. Why did they want to fight against Israel? Why they wanted to go out there and fight against Israel?
Shit, because most times the spirit will do that.
What do you think? They do it today. They do it today.
They're jealous, envy.
That too. Yeah. But one thing cops say when they come up to us, they're afraid of their lives. They're actually scared. They are scared anyway. So, you oppress the people for a long time, and what you do to them, because you're thinking in your mind that you would do the same thing if it was done to you. You know what I mean? They're scared as hell. So they figure if the children of Israel come by and they let them come past, they're going to end up coming against them. So they like, we just going to go out there and get them. All right, read.
Even unto the children of Ammon, for the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Ammonites, and Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Shaon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Aaron. That's like not Aaron, but Arnon. Wherefore, they that speak unto the proverb say, Come unto Heshbon, let the city of Shaon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Shaon. It hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Aaron.
What is this flame? What is this flame? Watch this. For there is a fire going out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Shiban. What is this flame? Talk. Everybody talking to each other. Man, they doing this, man. They slander them. They talking shit about Israel. That's that flame that went out. That tongue. That's the flame that went out. That fire. Fire went out. It's burning everybody. Everybody's like, nah, we ain't finna have it. They ain't finna do us like they did them. And now they just smoke the Amorites, Canaanite nations, South Africans and stuff like that. That's that flame that went out. They talking now. It's a bunch of talk. Bunch of talk. And that flame is all out here. That flame is going on, that fire. It's around. Everybody is starting to hit Edomite so bad right now. Race wars is finna pop off. It's gonna pop off. Hey, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So we really ain't gotta say that when we go somewhere. We reference and people see us. We ain't gotta say that. We've been saying it for so long now. It's like, man, we kept on telling y'all. Y'all don't want to listen. You better repent right now while you can. And some people still gonna be stiff necked. They ain't gonna listen. They ain't gonna listen to us when we tell them to get it together. Stop what you're doing. Stop strifing against one another. Stop hating one another. Stop talking shit to one another. You know, fast. And that's the way to get it off you. Fast, man. You know, I can go into a lot of things. You know, I've been fasting for the past 6 days now. So almost 7, and stuff that I would have been quick to do before I started fasting. Fasting helped me because I could have just a lot of things, but I didn't. You know, didn't even have to bite my tongue. I just kind of humbled myself. And then I was able to do a lot. So I would tell a lot of people to fast, man, spiritually fast and pray. You have the Most High help you with what you need help with, and eat what you need to eat. Give you know, you know, you know. I require power, so I fast. But go ahead, Bon. Let's get back to the story again.
Numbers chapter 21, verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Woe to thee, Moab, thou art undone.
What?
Undone.
Undone. Perish. You can get that. It's H6. Hebrews Strong's H6. All right. Undone. Perish. Vanish. Astray. Be destroyed. Cause to perish. Undone. Read.
O people, come on. He hath given his sons that escaped, and his daughters unto captivity unto Shabath, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished even unto Debon, and we have laid them waste even unto Nephah, which reacheth unto Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt. Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites, even unto the Amorites. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned out, went up by the way of Bashan.
Read that again, start 33.
And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle at Edrei.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Fear him not, for I have delivered him unto thy hand, and all the people in his land. And thou shalt do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon. So they smote him and his sons and his people until there were none left.
And all his people.
And all his people until there were none left, him alive, and they possessed his land.
Come. So now they are a possession. All for just, they should have just let him pass. They should have just let him pass. All right. Who was amongst them who put that spirit on Israel to come against the enemies? The Most High. The Most High gives them that warrior spirit, especially the angels all around. The Most High gives them that warrior spirit, man. Right now we ain't got it, but in these last days we're gonna have it. In an hour, will this place be destroyed? And then we'll, before that hour is up, we'll have our time to start destroying things. And we'll be exalted. Everybody's gonna see us exalted. All right. So go ahead. We're gonna go to chapter 22.
Numbers chapter 22 and verse 1. The children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab on the side Jordan by Jericho. And Balak the son of Zippor saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was sore afraid of the people, because they were many. And Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, Now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licketh up the grass of the field. And Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Thor, which is by the river of the land, by the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there.
Take a deep breath and start over, man. Start not over, completely over, but just
Verse 5. He sent messengers therefore to Balaam, the son of Beor, to Thor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, Behold, there is a people come out from Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that he whom thou blessest is blessed, and he whom thou cursest is cursed.
so. He said, verse 6, Come now, therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I wot that, W-O-T, all right? You can look that up. It means acknowledge, all right? Perceive, consider. I understand that he whom thou believest, I understand that he whom thou blesseth is blessed, and he whom thou curseth is cursed. That's just the king recognizing whoever he blesses, they're blessing. Who he curse, they recognize his brother, right? But what do he want them what does he want him to do to the children of Israel? 18:7, go ahead.
Verse 7. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of deviation in their hand. And they came unto Balaam, and spake unto him the words of Allah. And he said unto them, Lord, hear this night, and I will bring you word again to the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And God came unto Balaam and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying,
This is not the Most High God. This is the Elohim who he's talking to. Why? Because he does divinations. In verse 7, and the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divinations in their hand. They're thinking, oh yeah, we got them. Divinations, that's witchcraft. Divinations is witchcraft. He about to have Balaam go over there and curse the people and go over there and do things to them. You know what I'm saying? Do some witchcraft and have them doing all types of stuff. All right, read.
And behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covered the face of the earth. Come out, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. And Balaam rose up in the morning, and he said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak, and said, Balaam refuseth to come with us. And Balak sent yet again princes, both and more honorable than they. And it came to Balaam, said unto them, Thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, Let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto us. For I will promote thee unto very great honor, and I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now therefore I pray, tarry ye also this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. And God came unto Balaam at night, and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt not thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab.
Hold on. He just said that if thou men come to call thee, that's what he said. If men come to call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. That shalt thou do. All right. Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. Did they come and get him? They didn't call after him. Read.
Verse 22. And God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way, and went into the field, and Balaam smote the ass to turn her into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in a path of the vineyards, a well vineyard on the side, and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, he thrust herself into the wall, and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place, where was no way to turn, neither to the right hand nor to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me, I would there wear a sword in my hand, for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I never wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head, and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy ways perverse before me. And the ass saw me, and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I have slain thee, and saved her alive. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it please thee, I will give me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto the city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the uttermost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able to indeed promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that I shall speak. And Balaam went into Balak, and they came unto Kiriath Uzot. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam, and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam, and brought him up into the high places of Balaam, and that thence he might see the uttermost part of the people.
Salakia. So dude keep trying to take Balaam to see other parts that he was going to change his mind. Like, dang, man, look at them. They are men. We do got to get rid of them. We do got to get rid of them, man. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to see what I'm talking about, man. There's too many of them. We got to kill them. We got to stop them. You see why I want to do what I want to do this? We got to stop them, man. And that's what people do. Like, man, we can't let them get more numbers because they'll overpower us. They're smarter than us. They got the most high with it. We got to keep them less in number. We got to keep them transgressing the law. That's why he's trying to do divinations. He's going to go over here, hey, y'all do this and you that, teach them things that are divination that the most high don't like. And who's going to do that for him? Balaam. Balaam is going to teach them these divinations. He's going to do these tricks, these witchcraft tricks and everything else unto the children of Israel. But watch this. You got to understand that our people right here are wicked. These are most of them are just rebels. They don't care. They can do what they want to do. Like right now, you got a lot of rebels, a lot of women, a lot of African American women are turning into witchcraft right now. And it's like a big thing. Big step F the scriptures. We finna go to witchcraft. It's like you go to witchcraft, something that's fake, that teaches you the wrong thing versus something that teaches you the right thing and what to do is right and what you're doing is wrong. To go to something that you know is wrong. Rebel. Right? Rebel. Don't rebel. Most High hate rebels. He hate rebel. He hate rebellion. He hate when you give the people that are over you a hard time. When you grieve them, when they try to teach you and be over you. This is what Moses is dealing with. This is what he's dealing with right now. This is rebellious people. Now watch. Let's go on to 23. That's when we get to verse 24. It's crazy. I think 24 or 25, man. It's just, man. Read my book of Shabath, chapter 23. It irritates me just talking about it.
Numbers chapter 23 and verse 1. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 oxen, 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bullock and a ram. And Balaam said unto Balak, stand by the burnt offering, and I will go. Peradventure the Lord will come to meet me. Peradventure the Lord will come to meet me, and whatsoever he hath shewed me, I will tell thee. And he went to the high place, and God met Balaam, and he said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered upon every altar a bullock and a ram. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak.
Now this is not God, it's an angel. It's Elohim. Over here they call Elohim in the Yiddish, and the Paleo Hebrew is Elohim. Alright? Angel. Angel means messenger. Okay, he's giving them a message. Right, go ahead. What verse on?
Verse 6. Okay. And returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all his princes of Moab. And he took up his parable, and said, Balak, the king of Moab, hath brought me from Aram, out of the mountains of the east, saying, come, curse me, Jacob, come defile Israel. How shall I curse?
Come defile Israel. Ooh, man. Read.
How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defile whom the Lord hath not defiled? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hill I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and the number of the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. And Balak said unto Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. And he answered and said, Must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the uttermost part of them. Thou shalt not
The
see
utmost part.
the utmost part of them, and shalt not see them all, and shall not see them all, and curse me them from thence. 14. And he brought him into the field and drove him to the top of the Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. And he said unto Bullock, Stand here by thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, Go to Balak, and say thus. And behold, when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, What hath the Lord spoken?
Excuse me.
What hath the Lord spoken? And he took up his parable and said, Rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, the son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him.
So did he just tell him in verse 21 how Israel can be taken down? He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. Meaning he can't do nothing because they're not doing these things. There's no iniquity in Jacob. There's no perverseness in Israel. He can only do something to them if they have iniquity. He just told them that. Read.
Come on. 22. And God brought them out of Egypt, and he had, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any deviation against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, What hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey, and drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, Neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, Told not I thee, saying, All that the Lord speaketh that I must do. And Balak said unto Balaam, Come, I pray thee, I will bring thee unto another place. Peradventure it will please God that thou mayest curse me them from thence.
He's still just trying to take him to another mountain because he think he's gonna see him in a different light. Like, look what I'm trying to tell you. Look at these people. They are more than the sands of the sea. Right now, look how big they are, man. Come on, man. Look how much they're gonna vex me. Look at it. So he's gonna take him to another mountain. Like that's gonna work. The Lord's gonna be happy. Like the Lord gonna see some iniquity about him. He's trying to get him to see something that's not there. Basically. Right?
And Balaam brought Balaam to the top of Peor, and looked toward Bashan. And Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 bullocks, and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had said, and offered bullock and a ram on every altar.
What do you think he's trying to do?
He's trying to, he's scared. Like it's more of them than them. So he thinks that the devil is going to come against him. He's going to so he's trying to get him to see something that's not. Like he's seeing the person in wickedness because of his fear. But there's no person who's looking at him. And instead of trying to dwell with his neighbor peaceably, he's trying to take him out.
Yeah. That's what everybody do. They see us rising up, and they see wickedness in us that is not there, and they want to rise up against us. No, we got to get them. Oh no, Black lives on all lives matter.
I've seen a joke today. Not necessarily. There's a girl I know Samantha put up and she was like, let's see how this works. Since when we say Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. How about when y'all say Happy Independence Day, we say all countries matter?
Happy, no, all countries matter.
So all countries matter. So I'm taking away the independence from all the other countries.
I'm gonna say that. Watch. I'm gonna recode. Happy Independence. No, all countries matter. Okay.
Can't tell where you is without giving you advice.
All right, y'all. Let's move over to chapter 24. Is that chapter 24? Okay. Let me. Let me take over for the young lion real quick. Give him a little breather. I'm bringing back in at 25. This is Numbers chapter 24, verse 1. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tent, according to their tribes. And the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up his parable, and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How godly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel! As the valleys are they spread forth, and gardens by the riverside, as the trees of line, aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedars trees beside the waters. He's telling you about what he's doing. He's telling you about Israel. This is a prophecy he's telling you, right? How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacle, O Israel, right? As the valleys, they are spread forth. As the valleys, they are spread forth. It's a multitude of them. As a garden by the riverside, right? That means they're going to be flourishing as a garden by the riverside. You know what I'm saying? It has its sustenance to live. As the trees of legion, aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as a cedar tree beside the water. A cedar tree is big, and the water represents the knowledge and understanding. Verse 7, he shall power the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought forth out of Egypt, and he as it were the strength of an unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them thorough with his arrows. He wow. He couched. He lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up. Basically saying like he is couched, he is laid down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Like who gonna mess with Jacob at this time? You ain't gonna want to stir him up. You ain't gonna want to mess with him. You ain't gonna want to do anything to us. You're gonna really stay in your place. All right. Blesses verse 9. Blesses he that blesseth thee, and curses he that curseth thee. And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. Therefore now flee thou thy place, man. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor. And Balaam said unto Balak, Speak I not also to thy messengers, which thou sentest unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord, to do either good or bad of my own mind. But what the Lord saith, that will I speak. And now behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the later days. Now he's about to tell them what these people are going to do to your people in the later days. He's about to give them a prophecy. All that he's trying to do, he's about to tell them this now. He's like, "Won't you just come to me, man? I'm gonna advertise. I'm gonna tell people, hey, this right here is Balak. I'm about to tell him what Jacob and Israel gonna do to them in the last days." Hey, let's see if we cover it. Verse 15. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. He hath said, the man whose eyes are open is the angel that's telling him these things. He had took up this parable and he said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. He hath said which heard the words of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, fallen into a trance, but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob. This is talking about Hamashiach Yahushai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. And a scepter shall rise out of Israel, still talking about him, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also be a possession. His enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his later end shall be that he perisheth forever. He's still talking about Edom. Let's see who Amalek is. Let's see what the internet say Amalek is. I just want to see. Let's see. Man. Not Iran, the so-called Jews. Give me Revelations real quick, Bun. They're trying to say it's Iran. No. Amalek the Nazi. They're trying to call it Iran. No. Go ahead.
Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and thy tribulation and poverty. Thou art rich.
Mm-hmm.
And I would blaspheme them which say they are Jews and are not, but are synagogues of Satan.
But are who?
Synagogue of Satan.
This right here is a synagogue of Satan. This is Amalek, Amalekites. This is them. Right here. Right here. These are the Jews. Make that a little bigger for y'all. . This is them right here, which we've been trying to tell y'all for the longest. All right. So, start at 18. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his later end shall be that he perish forever. Let's see this. It's Obadiah 1 and 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, understanding out of Mount Esau, and thy mighty men, O Teman, the Teman dynasty, shall be dismayed, so that the end every one of the Mount Esau may be cut off by slaughter. That every one of the Mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. When you say cut off, let's see, it says something. Karath in the Hebrew. Cut off, make, cut down, cut, fail, destroy, want. To eliminate, kill, cut a covenant. When you cut agreement, you cut them off. That's what a covenant is. All right, let me go back real quick. They're going to be cut off by slaughter. Where's that at? Let me read. This is Numbers chapter 24 and verse 18. And Edom shall be a possession. Mount Seir shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly in them, right? Watch this. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessors. It's talking about the Mount Esau, right? And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. This is in the book of Obadiah. And they of the mount, and they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau. The mount is talking about a government, all right? And they of the plain of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Galilee. All right. Where's this at? Why? Let's find out why. This is Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Watch this. I read in context for you. Obadiah 1 and 8. Shall I not that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. This is Esau, Edom. Let's see. Let's see what the internet says Edom is. We're just going, visit them today. Let's go to images. Here's a book. Esau, Edom, Rome. He's an Edomite. Edomites. Let's see. Let's get some more here. I want to get you a clear and concise picture of the Edomites. Esau is Sodom. Esau today. Right here. We can't prove sex with children. This is them. This is how they are. We call her She-Saw. Watch this. Genesis 25 and 25. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and one man of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, spiritually. And the elder shall serve the younger. The eldest is the younger. Firstborn came out first and second. This just shows you that two brown couples, which so-called black people, can have a Caucasian baby. Jacob, Esau. Okay. Let's go over here. This is Esau today. This is Esau. He's showing y'all who Esau is. Look at it. European royals are all from Edom, Esau. This is showing you who Esau is. We showing y'all who the Edomites are. This is who they are. Man, who are the Jews and who they are not? Christians for truth. These are not the real Jews. Let's go over here real quick. I didn't put this here. No. Okay. Twin sons of Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Esau. This is Jacob. This is Esau, a great hunter, a supplanter. Jacob, Esau. Watch. Showing you all over the web. All over the web. Showing you. All over. All right. Get back to the topic at hand. All right. So we're going to 25 to 9. We're going to start at chapter 25 and verse 1. We're going to read to 9. This is Numbers chapter 25 and verse 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people begun to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Didn't they? Man, it was not even of use for Balak to go and do that. It was no use for Balak to go do that. You know, Balak could have been like, hey, you know what, they're gonna mess up anyway. So, let's just go ahead. Do what you gonna do, they're gonna mess up anyway. I'm finna send the girls over there. You know what I'm saying? Because the rebels are over there, over Israel. There's rebels over there. That's why the Most High said he gonna have to purge. You know what I'm saying? Purge. Let me get it off of this real quick. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, idolatry, right, fornication. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And the people did eat of the sacrifices and bow down to their gods instead of the Most High. Damn. And Israel joined them, and Israel joined himself unto, it says different in my book. Verse 3, and Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled. Why? Let's see why. It's Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. You hate the Most High. He's a jealous God. You can't. That's what they do, and they bow down to idols, things that cannot save or do anything. Right? They can't save and do anything. Verse 2, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor, And behold, the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman into the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it. He rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and went after the men of Israel in the tent, and thrust both of them, the men of Israel and the woman, through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? A heathen shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, not even be by the tabernacle. That's why. All right. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. All right. So now we're gonna move on to the prophets. What we're going to next? I turned my phone off so it can charge. Here we go.
So, Micaiah chapter 5, 6 and 8.
Micah. Okay. Starting at verse 6. Okay. All right, cool. This is going into prophecy. We're going to pick this up. All right. This is Micah chapter 5 and verse 6. And we're going to what?
Yeah, Micah chapter 5 and 6, chapter 6 and verse 8.
Go ahead and read it.
Sure. Micah. Micah chapter 5, verse 6. And they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod, and the entrances thereof. Thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian, when he cometh into the land, when he treadeth within our borders. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Thine hands shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in all that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, and I will cut off the cities of thy land, and throw down all thy strongholds, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more
Soothsayer.
soothsayers.
So what is this? This is prophecy, right? When is that? When is this prophecy being prophesied about? Is it then or now? Because it's kind of hard. Some people will be like, verse 6, they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod, and the entrances thereof. Thus shall they deliver us from the Assyrians, when he cometh into our land, and when he treadeth within our borders.
That was then. Burn on the hands of the Assyrians.
Hmm?
So that was then.
This was then?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll find out. Go ahead.
Verse
Start at verse 6 and read down, because it's prophecy.
Come. Verse 6.
No, verse 7. Select
7. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, but both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off.
And what?
All thine enemies shall be cut off.
And all thy enemies shall be cut off. Keep going.
And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, and I will cut off thy cities of thy land, and throw down all thy strongholds, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands, and I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee. So will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance and anger, fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
When has this happened? Yeah, I'm asking when has that happened? I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. When? But thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands.
Oh yeah, that's when he threw down that statue
What statue?
of Egypt. He cut the arms and legs off the statue.
No, you reach it. The Most High said, thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. If this is no more worship the work of thy hands, we are today.
You're saying it's a future prophecy.
It has to be, unless he's lying. If he says thou shalt no more worship the work of thy hands, today it wouldn't be no chance of idolatry. None of us will be committing idolatry or whoredom. This is future prophecy. Verse 11, and I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds. And I will cut off witchcraft of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Verse 10, and read down from there. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots. And I will cut off the cities of thy land and throw down all thy strongholds. And I will cut off witchcraft out of thy hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thy hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so I will destroy thy cities. And I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. So I will say I gotta precept this up. I'm coming back to this. I'm coming back to this because I remember this breakdown and I think I have it. All right, what we got next? Yeah, next book.
Micah chapter 6 and verse 1. Hear ye now what the Lord saith, arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice.
I'm talking about mountains, talking about the government. I read governments.
Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel. O my people, what have I done unto thee? And wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. For I thought I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses and Aaron and Miriam. O my people, remember now what Balak king of Moab consulted, and what Balaam the son of Beor answered him from Shittim unto Gilgal, that ye may know the righteousness of the Lord. Wherewith shall I come before the Lord, and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with cows of a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body, for the sin of my soul? He hath shewed thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, to walk humbly with thy God.
Let's go up here a little bit. Hear ye now, verse 1. Hear ye now what the Lord saith. Ariseth, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. So he's saying, hear ye now that the Lord saith, arise, contend thou before the mountains. So that's what we do out there right now. We contend among the mountains. These governments, they see us on TV, they see us on the internet. Whatever we do, they see us, we're contending against these mountains. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. For the Lord hath controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel. O my people, what have I done unto thee? Wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. Or what have I done to you? Testify against me. Pull it up. For I brought thee out of the land of Egypt and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. Miriam is kind of like a prophetess, you know what I'm saying? She was just getting out of hand. She was just really getting out of hand, you know what I'm saying? her and Aaron and everything. That was his wife and everything. She used to talk and speak a little bit and everything else. Um, she was just getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Most High took her melanin from her. You know, she should try to speak. Even she was an Egyptian, but she didn't speak in the tabernacle of the Lord. She didn't prophesy to none of that. To me, she just used to speak. And most women will try to call her a prophetess and everything. So let me get that straight. Will try. She's not. No, Miriam wasn't an Egyptian. She was Egyptian, huh? Well, let's just get away from this. We're gonna come back to this because I don't want to be presumptuous about this. We're gonna come back to this, and I'm gonna break this down right here. I don't vividly remember this breakdown and everything, but I do want to break this down through the Spirit. I don't want to be presumptuous about that and be proud and go in on something. You know what I mean? So I want to know what he meant by this right here. Before thee, Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. And I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. This in chapter 5, I want to break that down because that's a future prophecy. Because when the Most High would be like Assyria, and he said also right here,
it's a future prophecy.
Well, I know that, but I want to find the breakdown. I know I got the breakdown. Nimrod. Nimrod represents what? Babylon.
Babylon.
Yeah, and Assyrians. So he's. I'm just coming back. I just don't want to talk about it. So what's the next we going into for the gospel?
John 19:38, 42. And we're skipping to Matthew 21, 1 to 11.
So we're going to start at John 19 and verse 38. Go ahead, read that down.
John chapter 19, verse 38. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took of the body of Jesus. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the fight came to Jesus by night and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. Then took they the body of Jesus and wound it in linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Jews is to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new sculpture, wherein was never man yet laid, and there laid.
That was the end of 42, right?
No.
John 19 and 42. That's at the end? Oh, Salak, go ahead. Salak.
Verse 42. There laid they Jesus therefore because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand.
They took verse 40. They took the body of Jesus and wound it up in linen, clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Jews is to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new sculpture, wherein was never man yet laid. There laid they Jesus, therefore because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sculpture was nigh at hand. So they just laid them there. Now they just wrapped them up real quick. What do you think they did?
Well, they put him in the sculpture, whatever, the little mountain. Took off the rock and put him inside.
Okay, I got that. I'm not asking that. I'm just saying because they laid Jesus therefore because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sculpture was not nigh at hand. So did they just set him in there? I mean, you read it, right?
Well, yeah, they're the same thing. Yeah, they put him in there. 3 days came, and he rose back up. Put him inside the grave or something like that, whatever it's called.
It was a sculpture.
Yeah,
Inside, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And they put him in there. You know what I'm saying?
Put his body in there.
Yeah. So did they just put him in there? Did they prepare him and everything else, how things were supposed to be done, or they just laid him in there?
Well, it just says that they put him in there and say nothing about wrapping him up and or preparing him or something.
Hmm?
They prepare them.
They put him in linen clothes.
And 40, it said in verse 46, then took they the body of Jesus and found it in with the spices of manner the Jews is so daring. So they were preparing him. So they were like, in the ordinance it was for him.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you read this, a lot of people can't get it misconstrued. Like, they just laid him in there because they're not paying attention. They just look over this. These are things that, I would, when you read with people and you give them an understanding of things, they could they can go different ways with this. You know what I'm saying? And it gets kind of, what I'm saying? Like I asked you, you didn't know what I was talking about. Like, did they prepare him? And they just laid him in there because there they laid Jesus there because of the Jews' preparation day. All right, or are they supposed to do something else? But over in verse 40, they did. I mean, in verse 40, they did them in the manner of the Jews to bury. They did that. Now, in the place where the place was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new sculpture, wherein was never man yet laid. There laid they Jesus, therefore, because of the Jews' preparation day. What was the preparation day? It was a day before. Exactly. So they were supposed to prepare to eat and everything else. Right. So if it was a preparation day, right, the next day was the Shabath. Right. So it was already 1 day, 2 days, and then boom, third day. Right. So I'm not even going into it. It's just, I was seeing if he's gonna catch on. I'm not seeing if he's gonna catch on to something, but I caught on to a lot of other stuff reading that right there. So what we going to Matthew?
Matthew 21 and verse 1.
Matthew 21, verse 1 to what?
11.
Go ahead, read.
Matthew chapter 21, verse 1. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem, or had come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives. Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, did send Jesus two disciples, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a colt with her, loose them, and bring unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, ye shall say, The Lord hath need of them, and straightway ye will send them. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell me the daughter of Sion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and a colt the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put on their clothes, and they set them thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from the trees and strawed them in the way. And in the multitude they went before, and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna, the son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest is in the highest. And when he was come unto Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, Who is this? And then the multitude said, This is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee.
Well, that'll be the end of that Shabbat service lesson on the Sabbath day. I'm glad who that attended. That you attend. The law is very important. So it's a good thing that everybody stay for the law and to understand the law and to know how it plays out and what to do, what not to do, and then you start hearing the prophets in the New Testament speak, and pull precepts out of the law. That's how Paul and Christ, Peter, James, and what I'm saying. You start understanding they read the law, they read the prophets. They're reiterating these words that the prophets are saying. So you listen to those things. All right, you pay attention to them, you write them down. All right. And with that, Ahmadi towards Jerusalem. Let's get these prayers over with, and we're gonna get to camp. Everybody bow. This is the Ayah Hour. It is our duty to praise the Master of all, to ascribe greatness to the author of creation, who has not made us like the nations of the lands, nor placed us like the families of the earth, who has not made our portion like theirs, nor our destiny like all their multitudes. For they worship vanity and emptiness, and pray to a God who cannot save. But we bow and worship and thank the Supreme King of Kings, the Holy One. Blessed be he who extends the heavens and establishes the earth, whose throne of glory is in the heavens above, and whose power presence is in the highest of the heights. He is our God. There is no other. Truly, he is our King. There is none else. As it is written in the Torah, ye shall know and take to heart this day that Yahweh is our Elohim in the heavens above, on the earth below. There is no other. Hallelujah. 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 Bashem. Yahushua. Mashiach. Amen. Shema. Yashurala. Yahweh. 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 Shema. Yashurala. Yahweh. 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 Shema. Yashurala. Yahweh. Yahweh. Shema, Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Chud. Here we go, I got my Lord.
The Ten Commandments, love and love thy neighbor, love Yahweh. Yahweh, Yahweh, Asherah, Hawatazah, Afika, Baratazayim, Ba'a, Yahaya, Ka, Alhaya, Bakarim, Alpanya, Ba'a, Ta'asha, Laka, Basol, Wala'a, Ta'abidam, La'a, Dalakurka, Asham, Yahweh, Ashawah, Zakar, Hayawum, Shabath, Lakadash, Kabad, Abaku, Hanukkah, La'ah, Ratazah, La'ah, Dina'ah, La'ah, Dananah, La'ah, Dina'ah, Shakur, La'ah, Akamad, Kol, Asherah, Nara'ai. First greatest commandments, Hero Israel, Yahweh our God, Yahweh is one, thou shalt love Yahweh thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. Second greatest commandment, Ra'ika la'ak daquam la'ak the tar ak banya anka wa abata la ra'ika kama waka anya Yahweh. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh.
This is Zarkar 1, Hasha'ah. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany, the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it upon his head, and poured it on his head, as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for 300 pence, 1 year's wages, and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my head, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her. Hallelujah. 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 Hashem, Yahushua, Mashiach, Amen. All right, y'all. Tune in. We're about to go to camp here on Fairmont University. Those who want to join and those who are attending in this class right now, attend, come on down. All right. And with that, I give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. And we do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shema Yashavala Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Chet. All right. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.